Yeah, I think so. I certainly feel it's kind of the line is definitely that you've kind of nailed it really. But it's also about it's also about feeling like you want to go to bed all the time, you know, and because that's a time when you switch off, and it's something that's commonly associated with depression or feeling depressed is wanting to sleep a lot, you know, because it's a safe space, isn't it? You know, everybody's switched off and you're just in silence, aren't you? And I think it's a comfortable place, but it does leave you open to your thoughts a lot. But yeah, I think blokes do use silence as a way to escape their problems, which isn't really the answer, is it? It's a quick fix to a larger problem, isn't it? I think, and it's Andy's Man Club are the guys addressing that, really, aren't they? Well, it's a tough one, isn't it? It is a tough one. Yeah, I mean, I was watching an interview on TikTok with one of the Andy's Man Club guys, and it was an interview by Richard Hammond, oddly enough, and they were talking about, and it's the first time I'd heard about it. They have things called sweepers, which are great, which is at the headquarters, and a lot of the clubs, I think, they have when they're on, they have guys that walk up and down the street outside, and if they see blokes sat in cars, they approach them and knock on the window and say, "Are you here for Andy's Man Club?" And he said they go, yeah, and then they get them inside, because the hardest part is that tiny little that thing that is they're going through the door, is they're getting somebody to speak. He said once they get inside, they tend to be fine. You know, they talk. They're in the environment, and the hardest thing is to make yourself walk through the door, because they're finding that guys, they would speak to guys and they'd say, "Oh, you don't know how many times we've been sat outside and driven away. I haven't got the courage to come in." Or so they have these guys to sort of give them the confidence to come in, and that leads them to opening up and getting them to talk, like you said. But yeah, and I think I wonder, was in the environment. I've never been to one myself. I should go. I should go and experience it and see what it's like. Just have the experience myself, so I can talk about it with a bit more confidence. But I've spoke to people that have been, and it's about creating a comfortable environment for blokes to talk amongst themselves, maybe like the pub environment, or because a lot of pubs are closing down nowadays. I mean, I don't know if that's a thing. They can't talk to the mates. They maybe don't see the mates a lot anymore, or money constraints. They're stuck at home. They haven't got the money to go out and see their friends. So it's all about creating a comfortable, safe, social environment for fellas to go and to open up and talk to like-minded blokes. I did something for another group in the North East called the Men's Pie Club, which I thought was amazing, which is where blokes go. You know, under the guise, of course, all blokes love to eat pies, you know, and they go and make pies, and they talk or they don't talk, but it's a nice, cool environment, you know. It's about breaking down, it's all about breaking the stigma, isn't it, of it as well, and blokes don't want to be, there's a tough thing about it, a tough element in there, you know. Blokes like to appear tough, and, you know, I'll carry it on my shoulders, you know. I don't want to bother anyone with it, but it's breaking that down, and I think it's an older generation thing, and I just think we've got to keep hammering away at it until the younger generation of males grow up and they've never experienced that stigma. They've never known it, so it's just normal to talk about it, which is, I suppose, what will happen hopefully in the next 10, 15, 20 years when the youth become blokes. You know, they feel comfortable talking about their mental health. The school report, I found it hard to talk about that because that was rubbish. I don't know really. Yeah, maybe. I have amazing parents. Maybe that's an issue. I mean, maybe some people who come from broken homes maybe struggle with it more, or they have parents who aren't around, or parents who don't. There isn't a nice environment at home, or whatever, and children. I mean, not just men, but maybe all kids struggle from that age. Things in your adult life are often sometimes seeded in something in your childhood, aren't they? You know, I think if you've got great parents and they tell you can talk to them at any time and be good parents, I think that will help a lot, you know. But I never really struggled. No, my parents are great and were always there for me and cared about what I did and who I was, and I could go and speak to them about things. So yeah, quite lucky that way, really. I think so. I think lads grow up. Lads, just the very nature of lads is, to say something stupid, the laddie, aren't they? And it's all lads under the lads. There's a lot of testosterone and a lot of alpha male nonsense going on, isn't there? And nobody wants to be the weakling, do they? Or so lads, yeah, they drink, and maybe they drink and go out, and they all want to be the tough guy, don't they? And they have an image to uphold. Maybe that doesn't help. I don't know. Yeah, maybe that has got a lot to do with it. Yeah. And maybe that leads to drinking and whatever, substance abuse, and yeah, it's a slippery slope, isn't it? Everybody's different, aren't they? And all have different issues and different brains. It's yeah. There certainly was when I was a kid. Yeah, and Adam, definitely. Yeah, I was. My life was a misery at school. Not so much secondary school, so much, but primary school certainly. Which is why we went into primary schools, because I was tiny and looked very young, and I was an easy target. But you know, I don't know what the state of bullying is in schools nowadays. I have a daughter who's 8, and she goes to primary school, and they are a world apart from when I was at school. The teachers are incredible. You know, the strictness of the teachers I don't think did any good when I was a kid. I don't think it did the kids any good. I think they rebelled against it, and I think that was maybe a cause of the way kids acted back then, because all the kids at my daughter's primary school all seem to be wonderful children, and the teachers are a younger generation. The teachers at my school were the last of the generation where they could whack you with a stick, you know, but they weren't allowed to anymore. So, and it was horrible. But yeah, they were all very well behaved, and the head teachers and everything. When me and Adam did the tour of the schools around out where we live, they were amazing, and the kids all took it in. And we did the talk, and we asked a lot of questions, and they all answered amazingly and in very mature fashion, you know. We're very, very impressed. I was blown away, really. I like to think it's less of a problem nowadays. And some of the answers the kids were giving, we were asking a lot of questions about what should you do if you're being picked on, if someone else is being picked on, your friends, who should you talk to, you know, what course of action should you take, and they were all giving amazing answers. So, without seeing it for myself, I'd like to think it's less prevalent than it ever was, to be honest. And yeah, again, if it's much like mental health, if you can stamp it out generation after generation, maybe it'll not become a thing anymore. I don't know. But you've got to do what you've got to. I think with our band we have a small platform, so you've got to try and use it for some good, don't you? And try and help some way or another or whatever. Well, to be honest, I mean, we wrote the song Missing on TV about the government and stuff, and I think I do, and I know a lot of people feel let down by the government, you know, so the only thing you can do is to take matters into your own hands a little bit, and if it wasn't for Andy's Man Club, if it wasn't for, you know, all these other wonderful charities that do various jobs looking after women in abused relationships, or all these wonderful organisations, then we'd be knackered, wouldn't we? If we solely relied on the government to help us out with all these issues, we'd get nowhere, would we? So I think we all have a duty to try and do our little bit, don't we? I think so. I think the reason we went to primary schools is because, well, that's where we experienced it, and I think if you teach children when they're that age, that's the best time to teach them, isn't it? You can't teach an old dog new tricks, as they say, can you? You get them when they're young and teach them respect and teach them to treat people kindly, and hopefully they grow up with those values, don't they? We recently got, me and Adam were very lucky. We recently were entered into a poll with several other amazing sort of programs to get some funding. So me and Adam have actually received some funding recently off the back of that, so we can do some more schools and get some more teaching aids or whatever. So hopefully we'll go a bit further afield and do some somewhere else, you know. That's my dad. That.
What?
That's my dad. That.
Ah.
The guy who paints your house. Yeah, they're all real people. They're all based on real people. Yeah, that's that verse is about my dad. That. I absolutely think so. Yeah, I think they're out there. I don't know whether we need more. I suppose we can always do with more inspiring people, but we need to find them, and it's lovely to associate with them. And I think we need to dig deeper into people to truly recognise it, you know, because I think everybody's inspiring to some degree, you know. I think you can take inspiration and hope from anybody who's a good person. You just got to be a sort of person to look for it, I think, and be affected by positive people. I think so, yeah. I know we can all do our bit by being a bit more positive, can't we, and try and be a bit more inspiring, I suppose. Blimey, my ultimate goal. I mean, I do the sort of things that you never see the results, but you just do your bit. It's like Andy's Man Club, the song and everything. We put the song out, Night Skies, and I had a lot of messages about fellas saying, "Oh, you know, I've gone to an Andy's Man Club," and to me, that's the goal, isn't it? I don't know what else. That's the goal, isn't it? I mean, even if you manage to stop one bloke from jumping off a bridge or whatever, then the job's done. I don't need to know about it, but you know, if it's worked, it's worked. All I can do is sort of try. And again, if one kid thinks about not bullying another kid because they've spoke to us for half an hour, then I don't need to know about it. But it's job done, isn't it? You know, it's just the little things. I think the little things are as important as the big issues. You know, it's all right stopping wars and stuff. There, you know, that's for the government to deal with, but you need to sort out antisocial behaviour and things that affect people's minds on a daily basis at home and in the street and stuff. They're as important as world issues, I think, definitely.